Welcome to DM Collector's Lounge, where we have a professional hoarder in his natural habitat.
So we're going to do something a little bit different today. We've got an unboxing for you. It's some wrestling stuff, and they are items that I think some collectors maybe miss them in collecting, and one of them, the collectibles that I'm always on the hunt for to try and get into the store. So let's get into it. This one's just packaging tape, so we're not doing an unboxing on that.
What makes this mammal a pro is the way he looks like he is selling, when in fact, he is collecting.
Polystyrene. Hate polystyrene. Yeah, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Why? Because you just touch it and it just starts to snow all the time. But it's packaged well, so if you have to package well, use the polystyrene. Right, let's change the camera. Just enough space. If I bring this back a touch, let's see. There we go. There's only a few bits in here, but what's it called? Yeah, still want to talk about them. So in at number one, so they're both packaged together. So I'll tell you what they are. So we've got a full-size replica of a WWE belt, the spinner. Not sure on the condition on it, so I'm excited to open it up and see what the condition's like. We've got the box ready for it. That'll do for the packaging. Where possible, we'll always try and reuse the packaging. It makes sense. Saves me money, saves the environment. Atom Roll love that. Yeah, so just try and do that. So whatever we get to first, that's what we'll see. Love it. Love it. Like I said, I think it is a little bit worn from what I've seen online, but it's fully complete, which definitely helps the price on this. So we'll start with the belt. It weighs an absolute ton. Like, it's probably, I don't know, not like a lot of the belts I handle, they weigh like between 2.5, but this definitely looks like it's getting on for the 5k mark. Maybe more. Boom, there we have it. So this will be coming to the store very soon.
By soon, I mean at some point this year.
It's an absolute beast. It's a metal and leather WWE spinner belt. It's an absolute beauty. And I'm just going to have a look through and just make sure it is complete. But we'll do some close-ups and you can look at this with me. So when I was going through, it looked like it were like really ripped on the sides, but it doesn't look like that. So I bought this with the intention of it maybe being worth 400, but looking at this, and based on the condition, it's probably going to be looking more towards that maybe 600 to 700 mark. But let me give you some close-ups. There we have it. So let's start with the centerpiece. Like, the spinner is like so clean, which again, it's like such a good sign. The only thing I have noticed is one of the champion side plates, there's a small diamond jewel missing. However, that to me isn't a problem, because you could easily go, like say in the UK, you could easily go to like a local craft store. If you're in America, again, you can easily go to a craft store, and although you're not going to get like for like, you'll be able to get something that like complements the piece really well. And then on the nameplate, sometimes you do get them filled out with names, but preferably I always want it blank, because saying belts I've sold in the past, it might have, I don't know, Undertaker on, but then collectors will message asking if I have any without the nameplate. So it just makes it so much easier without the nameplate. And again, if you go to like your local like hardware store, you'd easily be able to find something similar to complement the piece if you did want either a blank one or a name on. But yeah, look, like absolutely love that centerpiece, the spinner. Like it's in such good order. There's no signs of like any creaking, scratching, anything like that. But we'll just have a run through and show you the piece. Like it's such a nice belt, and I say to you all the time, like these are the sort of collectibles I'm aiming to get into the store more. And we turn to the reverse of the belt again. Like it's in excellent condition. I'm not going to say near mint because there are signs of rust on some of the screws, but again, when it's on the reverse of the belt, that doesn't worry me. What I look for on the reverse in particular are these screws complete, because I have had times where they're missing and it's so hard to replace them because you're looking for those screws that you basically want them the same style, shape and fit. So it is hard. But thinking about it, I could easily get some bolt cutters and get screws that do fit. So that's something to think about in the future. But you can see that it's got the original label showing it's a WWE Championship belt, and then we've got the official authentic replica championship from the WWE shop 2014. I cannot stress how happy I am with the condition on this, because sometimes when I'm buying, I do feel if it's a good price, pay the price, and yeah, you don't necessarily need to ask more questions because the price is already fair. But on the pictures, there was only one photo, and it looked to me like on the, let's see if I can show you. So like on the edges here, it must have just been the way it was folded, but it looked to me like it was really quite well torn. But wouldn't have been a problem if it was. It just obviously affects the value. But the fact that this is in like complete order, yeah, it's going to make for like a really, really nice collectible coming to the store. And sometimes it's not even about the collectible selling, it's about getting feet in the door, eyes on the store, that kind of thing, because somebody might say just want to look at this out of enjoyment, and then by doing that they might see like, oh, he's got loose wrestling figures for sale, we'll get 5 wrestlers, or they might see some box figures they want. So it's not necessarily always about the sale. It's about bringing in collectibles that get people wanting to come to the store and check it out. But yeah, it's an absolute beauty, and where possible, when possible, I'll always try and get these in. So that's number one. Let me show you the next wrestling related collectibles coming to the store. So we move on to now an undervalued market for collectibles, and this is an example why. So it's not turned out the way that I hoped it would be, but this is vintage WWF magazine. So it's the Divas 2006. Again, there was only one photo, but for the price, you take the risk and hope you get the reward. So we're expecting there could have been like 20 magazines in here. However, it's one folder. And it's just basically the wallets are just have one page from that exact magazine. So if these were all different magazines, you look at, there could have been like 200 to 250 here, but it's not the case. And this is the reason why I think that magazines are one of the most undervalued markets for wrestling collectibles, because the condition is quite often like poor or like incomplete. We often see the WWF magazines where the pull-out posters aren't there. And again, if you can get wrestling magazines that are complete, I think they're such a great investment and such a great collectible to have. But at least with this, I've got the complete magazine. It's just that it's all been torn up, and literally like the pages are just all separate. But we're still going to try and sell it. It will still get sold. It isn't going to fetch the value that I hoped. But we'll say with the folder, it's got like a vintage WWF folder in there. So yeah, that hasn't turned out the way I wanted it to, but the wrestling belt, yeah, that's an absolute beauty, and it's going to look after me, like, for what I've paid for this lot, like, no worries. There's not actually been any sales since the war medal yesterday. That was our last sale, but that was an absolute, like, yeah, great sale. So tomorrow, hopefully, I'll have a video to show you for some eBay sales, what's left the store overnight. I've got some vintage to pack, and there'll be a vintage video 8 PM. See you in a bit. Honestly, it is an absolute beauty. Like, collectibles like these, they just look class. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, these are the collectibles you want on display. Simple as that.